What a great weekend it is to be a DC fan. That's right. Just this weekend, we got The Penguin released on Max, on HBO. And what a show it was, let me tell you. Then we had the Batman Day, World's Greatest Detective. We had James Gunn celebrating it over on X. He said, "Today we celebrate the Dark Knight, the world's greatest detective, the one and only Batman. Batman Day. Long live the Bat." Batman 85. 85 years Batman has been around. That is incredible. And you would think that people would be excited, celebrating, talking about Batman, talking about what their favorite iterations of Batman were, what their favorite Batman movie is, and all of that jazz. But no, they found a way. People found a way to make this a negative about James Gunn. People were saying things like, "Oh, Ben Affleck got shafted in this little vignette here." First off, they showed little clips from 1940s or the 1930s all the way up to current day. It's pathetic what people do to find a way to just harp on James Gunn and harp on anything that is DC related today. This was a celebration of Batman yesterday. It was a celebration of 85 years of Batman, celebrating all that we've gotten from Batman through this time. And people used to get excited when we would see and talk about, like, "Oh, Ben Affleck's Batman is the only one that's used the glowing eyes. He used the armored suit. It was amazing." Yet people want to sit there and complain that this is the version, he got shafted in this video because they showed this. Like, come on, guys. Come on. Let's be real here. You're just looking for reasons to complain about James Gunn. You're upset because the Snyderverse ended in 2017. Let's move on. Let's celebrate. Let's get excited about Batman and Batman Day. 85 years of Batman. This is wild. Who would have thought that we'd be celebrating 85 years of a comic book character? Come on. Let's be real here. But it doesn't end there this weekend. Like I said, we had The Penguin, which came out just the other day. And to wild esteem, we also had Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, come out in theaters. I unfortunately did not get a chance to go see it. I might be able to see it because it's in theaters only on the 21st and the 25th. Unlikely I'm going to get to see it on the 25th. I'm going to have to probably wait till it's on streaming. But I'm going to see it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to review it. So everybody can, be on the lookout for that once I do get a chance to see it. But it is doing huge. People love it. Critics love it. People love it. It is huge. People enjoy it. People are loving it. And like I said, Penguin is doing great. Certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. People are loving it. 89% popcorn meter over there from people on Rotten Tomatoes. People are loving it. But here's the thing. People then question, well, Penguin isn't a DCU thing, and neither is the Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. That's not a DC. Okay, let's put this out and let's explain things so everybody understands. Running a studio isn't always simply about being the one who creates everything. Yes, absolutely. James Gunn, Peter Safran are very much involved in creating the DCU. They are creating the DCU. But studios also will go out and purchase content specifically for the studio to put the studio label on it. And that's a big part of running a studio, to help boost up other content that other studios, lesser, studios that don't have a lot of money to help promote their stuff, would like to have that happen, to distribute films. But a studio doesn't want to go buy a movie that's going to be crap, because that then pulls down their stock. That makes the studio look bad. So in the case of Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, yes, this has a couple of connotations here, because one, it has to do with DC in a lot of ways, because Christopher Reeve was Superman, and it's called Superman, which has a lot of connections to DC right there. So it made sense for DC Studios to go out and purchase this, which they did. They went out and purchased the distribution rights for it. That's number one. Number two, they did it because they knew that it was a very well done documentary, and they wanted to put their name and label on it to distribute it. That is fine. Not any time have they gone out there and said that we made this film. James Gunn's never said that. No one from the studio has ever stated that. But the fact that they are the distribution partner with this does put some weight behind it. And it is a big win for DC Studios because they're distributing it. Man, I can't talk. That's a big win. But it's also a big win for those who made this documentary. And you can't look past that. This is a huge win for Superman, for Christopher Reeve, his family, everybody involved. This is a huge win for everybody involved. Just because it's the DC Studios label on it that's distributing it doesn't mean it's less of a win for James Gunn and DC Studios and Warner Brothers. It's no big deal. Like, you don't need to harp on the studio all the time. That is a big part of running a studio, is finding films to distribute. That is part of running a studio. Okay? Like, that's part of it. That's part of... They should get a pat on the back for saying, good job in finding a movie that is successful, that you can promote and distribute, because that is what studio heads do. And when you find one that is good and successful and you buy it and distribute it and it's successful, that's a good job. Then you want to sit there and say, well, Matt Reeves' Batman series was not under DC Studios prior to them taking over, so the Penguin doesn't fall under that. That was a Warner Brothers picture. Now it's just, that's ridiculous. Again, the point of the DC Studios was to push all future DC properties under one studio. All future. So yes, the Batman was under Warner Brothers Pictures. That's what it was. Nobody's saying it wasn't. But Joker 2, The Penguin, all of that stuff falls under the DC Studios label now. That's okay. It's under that banner. It's under that studio. That doesn't make it any less of a win for DC Studios for it being good because the Batman was under Warner Brothers Pictures. No, it's under DC Studios now. It's under the watchful eye of James Gunn and Peter Safran. They have to watch over that. They have to make sure and help manage the budget to make sure things are running smoothly, just as any other studio head would have to do with any project underneath them. So yes, they do get the credit for that as well. So people need to step back and say, look, they're doing a hell of a job as studio heads. No, it's not with the DCU yet, because that hasn't started yet. But with the few projects, the couple projects that have come out thus far, they're winning. And you got to give them credit. You have to give them credit because they are working as a studio. And as studio heads, they've done their job as studio heads thus far. And they're winning. And it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see. I love to see it. We should all love to see it. It's exciting times. More is to come. It is a sign of great things to come. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you checked out The Penguin? Have you seen Superman, Christopher Reeve's story? I can't wait to see that. Oh man, I can't wait to see it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. With all that said, I'll catch you all later.